Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. The Northeast blanketed in snow as millions brace for more flooding in the West. A deadly gas explosion rocks an entire neighborhood, and former President Trump back on offense after a stinging loss in court. First, those storms. More than a foot of snow hit parts of the Northeast. Icy temperatures expected overnight, while in the West, mudslides ahead of another hard-hitting atmospheric river. 27 million people are under flood watches. Our weather team timing it all out. Also tonight, a house obliterated by a catastrophic explosion as firefighters responded to reports of a gas leak. One firefighter killed, 12 other people taken to the hospital. The blast was felt blocks away. What we've learned about the fallen firefighter and what homeowners should do when they smell gas. Former President Donald Trump sounding off after being hit with fines totaling hundreds of millions of dollars, vowing to appeal. Nikki Haley facing an uphill battle in her home state with just a week to go until the South Carolina primary, saying it's time for a new generation of conservative leadership. Outrage growing around the world over the death of Alexei Navalny, one of Vladimir Putin's fiercest critics. Hundreds arrested in Russia as memorials to Navalny grow. Questions surrounding his death. The opposition leader appearing healthy during court one day before he died. His family demanding the Russian government return his body. Vice President Kamala Harris promises unwavering support for Ukraine, but new U.S. aid will have to wait as the House of Representatives leaves town. Ukrainian President Zelenskyy pleading for help, saying dictators don't go on vacation, and Russian troops take another Ukrainian town. Chilling video. Months before he shot and killed 18 people in Maine, an Army reservist tells police fellow soldiers were worried because, quote, "I'm gonna do something and I am capable." The investigation into how he could have committed mass murder given such a stark warning. An urgent search underway in Texas for an 11-year-old girl who vanished on her way to school. What police are now saying. And America strong tonight after a devastating accident. A ball player makes history by fulfilling his baseball dream.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Whit Johnson. As we come on the air, millions on the West Coast are bracing for another round of heavy rain and snow. A hard-hitting storm taking aim at the saturated state of California, which has already received more than 150% of its annual rainfall. Flood watches in effect from Los Angeles up to the Bay Area. Concerns tonight the heavy rain could lead to more scenes like this, rock slides, shutting down part of the 101 freeway in Del Norte County in northern California. Here on the East Coast, Central Park looking like a winter wonderland, a fast-moving storm dumping a little over an inch of snow there, but parts of New Jersey and Pennsylvania cleaning up after receiving around a foot. All of this expected to freeze over tonight. Let's get right to meteorologist Brittany Bell from our station WABC here in New York. So, Brittany, is the snow done for now?
We are done with most of the snow, but with so much snow still on the ground and sub-freezing temperatures, that threat turns to black ice tonight through early tomorrow morning. Also early tomorrow, the big chill on the way with real field temperatures dropping down into the teens and even colder in some spots. It could feel like 16 in New York and 11 degrees in Boston. Out west, that fire hose of moisture continues. So that first storm that wraps up tonight, that second takes aim tomorrow afternoon. The second round even stronger, dropping multiple rounds of heavy rainfall, gusty winds, also intense snowfall. So let's talk about totals. Rainfall totals closer to the coast, ranging from 2 to 5 inches, and for snow, up to 2 to 3 feet could fall across the Sierras through Wednesday. Whit.
Brittany Bell, it's great to have you with us tonight. Thank you. Next here, a scene of devastation in a residential neighborhood in Northern Virginia, not far from Washington, D.C. An explosion leveling a house. One firefighter was killed, 10 others taken to the hospital, along with 2 civilians. Authorities say residents had called them after smelling gas. An investigation now underway. ABC's Nguyen is in Sterling, Virginia.
Tonight, investigators searching for clues, trying to determine what caused a propane leak that led to a deadly home explosion outside Washington, D.C. The horrific scene unfolding in this Loudoun County, Virginia neighborhood Friday night.
We thought it had been lightning or an earthquake. It was just an incredible boom. Whole house shook.
Firefighters responding to a 911 call about a gas smell, encountering a 500-gallon underground propane tank with a leak. Just over a half hour after they arrived, these terrifying audio transmissions.
We just had a catastrophic explosion,
Revealing firefighters trapped inside the home.
Affirming people trapped in the basement, large debris pile everywhere, working on trying to get the firefighters out of the basement.
Fire officials describing the nightmarish situation.
That was somewhat chaotic as we tried to figure out how many firefighters were trapped under the debris.
Tragically, volunteer firefighter Trevor Brown, a 45-year-old married father of 3, did not survive.
We lost one of our own. It's a system. Doesn't matter if it's career or volunteer. We lost a family member.
10 other firefighters and 2 occupants of the home rushed to the hospital. Neighbors capturing video showing pieces of the devastated home covering the streets and trees. John Lee telling me he passed by the house just moments before the explosion.
It just kind of makes you like, wow, I really thank God that I'm alive.
Tonight, officials urging families to call 911 anytime they smell any kind of gas.
The occupant did the right thing. She called 911. She's alive today because she did.
An important reminder. Nguyen joining us now from that scene in Virginia. And what more are you learning about the conditions of the 12 people taken to the hospital?
Yeah, Whit, 4 of the injured firefighters are still recovering in the hospital. We're told they are expected to survive. The others have been released, and officials say it's a miracle there weren't more fatalities. Whit.
Thank you. Now to former President Donald Trump firing back after a New York judge ordered him to pay $355 million in his civil fraud trial. Trump on the campaign trail hitting the swing states of Pennsylvania and Michigan today as Nikki Haley tries to turn up the heat in her home of South Carolina a week ahead of that state's primary. Here's ABC's Alex Presha in Michigan.
Tonight, former President Trump firing back, vowing to appeal after a New York judge found him liable for fraud and ordered him to pay more than $350 million in penalties.
If I weren't running, none of this stuff would have ever happened. None of these lawsuits would have ever happened. Nothing would. I would have had a nice life. But I enjoy this life for a different reason. We're going to make America great again.
Today, Trump trading the courtroom for the campaign trail, stopping in the battleground state of Pennsylvania, courting a younger crowd at a sneaker convention.
We got to get young people out to vote, and you're going to vote, and we're going to turn this thing around.
And tonight, Trump traveling to Michigan, where early voting starts today. The court cases on the minds of many here.
Overall, do you think it's a net positive?
I'm not sure, but I think overall it hasn't hurt him. Only time will tell.
Today, Nikki Haley sharpening her criticism of former President Trump and his legal woes.
Then the campaign reports came out, and we saw that he spent $50 million of campaign contributions to his campaign on his personal court cases.
But Haley's trailing 32 points behind Trump in her home state, the South Carolina Republican primary just 1 week away. Haley insisting she's in it for the long haul, pointing to the recent ABC News Ipsos poll.
59% of Americans think that Joe Biden's too old and think that Donald Trump's too old to be running for president.
Ed Kaczynski, a longtime Democrat, saying he agrees.
I'm in my 70s, and I can tell you, I'm too old to be president, and I'm younger than both of them. So it's time for them to move aside.
With tonight's rally in Michigan is very much a signal that Trump is already acting as the presumptive Republican nominee. A recent poll has him up 10 points over Joe Biden here. Whit.
Alex Presha reporting for us tonight. Thank you. And tune into This Week tomorrow morning. Jonathan Karl speaks exclusively with Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley about her campaign against Donald Trump. Overseas now, where outrage is growing following the death of Alexei Navalny, the staunch Putin critic who Russian authorities say died suddenly Friday in a Siberian prison. Demonstrators across Russia taking part in vigils in memory of Navalny. More than 400 people have been detained, according to a Russian human rights group. Many supporters questioning whether Navalny was murdered. ABC's Lama Hassan in London tonight.
Tonight, Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny's supporters defiantly gathering at makeshift memorials after his death in a Russian penal colony were met with swift crackdowns. Russian police swooping in and dragging people away. arresting hundreds of supporters across more than 30 Russian cities, according to human rights organizations there. Shouting, "Shame, shame," they say they won't give up. Broad, worldwide condemnation and widespread demonstrations in support of a man some are calling a martyr.
The death of Alexei Navalny yesterday was a reminder of the extraordinary brutality of Putin and his government.
Navalny's mother and lawyer traveling to this prison just above the Arctic Circle, where he was serving a sentence of nearly 3 decades, receiving the official confirmation of his death, but unable to recover his body. They were told the morgue was closed.
The body was taken by investigative committee, and they are conducting some sort of investigations with him.
The prison authorities explaining the 47-year-old's death, saying he felt unwell after going for a walk, losing consciousness, and after trying to resuscitate him for almost half an hour, he was pronounced dead. Navalny is one of several Putin critics that have been killed or died under suspicious circumstances. Among them, Yevgeny Prigozhin, leader of the Wagner Group. He was killed in a mysterious plane crash 3 months after a failed rebellion against Putin last year. In 2015, politician and Putin opponent Boris Nemtsov was shot dead on a bridge in Moscow. And in 2006, former KGB spy Alexander Litvinenko was poisoned after fleeing to the United Kingdom. With the Russian authorities say Navalny's body will not be handed over until an investigation into his death has been completed. But his team say this is just to cover traces of what they believe is a clear act of murder by Vladimir Putin.
Lama Hassan for us tonight. Thank you. Staying overseas now, Vice President Kamala Harris standing with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy at the Munich Security Conference, both making the case for additional U.S. military aid. Harris emphasizing the importance of American support for Ukraine as efforts to provide funding have stalled in Congress. And the meeting comes as Ukrainian forces retreat from a key city. Here's ABC's Selena Wang at the White House.
As Russia takes control of another Ukrainian city, President Zelenskyy today imploring Congress, alongside Vice President Harris, for more aid to defeat Vladimir Putin.
We are counting on this positive decision of the Congress. For us, this package is vital.
We must be unwavering, and we cannot play political games.
The Senate already passed Ukraine funding, but the House leaving for a 2-week break without even considering the bill. Zelenskyy pouncing.
Please, everyone, remember that dictators do not go on vacation.
Before sending aid overseas, House Republicans demand that the U.S. secure its own borders, but they undermined themselves by derailing a bipartisan deal in the Senate that included the toughest border security measures in decades, after former President Donald Trump opposed it.
And the idea that now, when they're running out of ammunition, we walk away, I find it absurd. I find it unethical. I find it just contrary to everything we are as a country.
And time is running out. Overnight, Ukraine retreating from the eastern city of Avdiivka, now in skeletal ruins.
Slava Ukraine.
Just months after Zelenskyy visited.
And just moments ago, President Biden told reporters that he is confident that they will get more money to Ukraine. He also blamed Congress's inaction for leaving Ukraine without ammunition, which forced Ukraine to retreat from that eastern city, giving Putin a victory there.
All right, Selena, thank you. We turn now to the chilling new body camera video of the mass shooter in Lewiston, Maine, speaking with law enforcement. But the images were taken 3 months before Robert Card killed 18 people and wounded more than a dozen others. Authorities were responding to concerns from Card's fellow Army reservists worried about his mental health. Here's ABC's Phil Lipoff.
Tonight, the chilling exchange between New York State Police and the Lewiston, Maine shooter 3 months before authorities say he shot and killed 18 people and injured more than a dozen others.
I hope you understand that they're concerned enough about your welfare that they called us.
The body camera video obtained by ABC affiliate WMTW shows troopers speaking with Robert Card and members of his Army Reserve unit.
Our concern is that he's either going to hurt himself or someone else.
After they called state police to report the 40-year-old's growing paranoia and unusual purchases.
He's a gun nut, too. He has a lot of guns. He just spent 14 grand on a scope.
The troopers spoke with Card, who had this theory on why his fellow reservists called police.
Oh, because they're scared, because I'm going to friggin' do something, because I am capable.
Like, what do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you mean by that?
Nothing.
The video shows Card telling troopers he's been hearing people talk behind his back and for 3 months has been wearing hearing aids. His unit members tell police they're not sure if it's the hearing aids or he's actually hearing voices.
I'd rather have people stop talking, stop looking at me. I'm a private person that don't like there.
The troopers tell Card he's been ordered by a commander to speak with a counselor. Outside, before heading to a psychiatric hospital, Card tells troopers he's planning to retire after 20 years in the reserves.
You gonna make it to retirement?
I'm hoping.
Okay. All right. Don't do anything to jeopardize that, man, all right?
Yeah.
So how, after all of that, all of those red flags, was Card able to commit a mass shooting just 3 months later? Well, the committee investigating now has subpoena power and is looking for documents and answers. Whit?
Still so many questions in this case. All right, Phil, thank you. Final farewells today for 2 of the 3 soldiers killed in last month's drone attack on a remote American base in Jordan. Sergeant Kennedy Sanders remembered in her hometown of Waycross, Georgia, her father saying she was working toward a career, possibly in the military. The funeral for her close friend, Sergeant Brianna Moffett, also today in Jonesville, Georgia. Her parents saying they hope and pray no other family has to go through anything like this. Sergeant William Rivers was also killed. Moffett and Sanders were both posthumously promoted. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Saturday. New developments in the search for a missing 11-year-old girl in Texas. And encouraging news about some of those wounded in the shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs Victory Parade. Stay with us. Next tonight, an urgent search continues in Texas for an 11-year-old girl. An Amber Alert was issued after Audrey Cunningham went missing on Thursday morning in Livingston. That's about an hour north of Houston. Her mother told reporters Audrey apparently never made it onto her school bus. Just a short time ago, police saying they suspect foul play, and they do have a person of interest now in custody. Some encouraging news tonight following that shooting at the Chiefs Super Bowl parade. The last of 12 patients taken to Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City have been released. Many were children. Several other people remain hospitalized at other facilities. One person was killed when gunmen opened fire at the end of the Chiefs celebrations. 2 juvenile suspects were arrested. When we come back, why Tiger Woods had to drop out from a golf tournament. To the index now, Tiger Woods suffered another setback as he tries to return to form. Woods was forced to withdraw Friday from the Genesis Invitational in California after completing just 6 holes. A spokesman says he was suffering from flu-like symptoms and was treated for dehydration. When we come back, America Strong, the college baseball player and his history-making comeback. Finally tonight, America Strong, a baseball player who never gave up, now making history.
This was the moment last night when East Carolina sophomore Parker Byrd made history. The opening day crowd roaring.
Parker Byrd making his collegiate debut.
Parker tipping his hat as he approached the batter's box, becoming the first Division I college baseball player with a prosthetic leg to appear in a game.
This is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my lifetime in sports. That right leg lost in a boating accident, but has kept his intentions, kept the dream alive to play college baseball. Ball 4 outside.
Parker's family right there watching in the stands.
The picture of resilience and fight.
A baseball lover since he could walk, Parker lost his right leg almost 2 years ago after a boating accident that nearly took his life. 22 surgeries, months of intensive rehab, now getting him to this day. With Parker's help, the Pirates winning the game 16-2. Ecstatic fans showing their admiration. Parker never giving up on his dream to play again.
And it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this crowd, these fans, these people, my family, my teammates, coaches, I really cannot be more thankful. I really can't put it into words. It's phenomenal.
An inspiring comeback story. Way to go, Parker Byrd. Thanks so much for watching tonight. I'm Whit Johnson in New York. Have a great night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.